Hi there, welcome back to Mill Creek Church, the place where you belong. We are so thankful that you came out and chose to worship with us. We're currently doing our Wednesday night word of encouragement. If you'd like to find out more information about Mill Creek Church, you can visit us on the web at millcreekbaptist.online or join our Facebook group that you will see displayed on the screen. And if you would like to know more about Mill Creek Church, please feel free to fill out our Connect Plus card that will be linked in the description below, and someone from our church will be reaching out to you shortly. Today's reading comes from Acts chapter 2, verses 41 through 47. So then, those who had received his word were baptized, and that day there were added about 3,000 souls. They were continually devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Everyone kept feeling a sense of awe, and many wonders and signs were taking place through the apostles. And all those who had believed were together and had all things in common. And they began selling their property and possessions and were sharing them with all as anyone might have need. Day by day continuing with one mind in the temple and breaking bread from house to house, they were taking their meals together with gladness and with sincerity of heart, praising God and having favor with all people. And the Lord was adding to their number day by day those who were being saved. Cultivating a vital spiritual life. The older I get, the more I realize that one of the greatest adversaries in life is laziness. Complacency and apathy are running rampant in our world today, and they don't just stop because they see the church doors. So what can we do to combat it? And for that answer, I think we can learn a valuable lesson from the early church in Acts chapter 2. Luke writes in the 42nd verse that believers were continually devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. That was the everyday life of the believer in the first century, and it demonstrates to our generation that much attention was given to cultivating a vital spiritual life within their communities. But how do they do it? The first lesson we learn is that it is a continual process. They were continually devoting themselves. Consistency is an easy solution to many of the problems that we face. No, it may not be easy to consistently persevere in the face of adversity, but once we learn how to do so through Christ, it is life-changing. The second lesson is that they were consistently doing the right types of things. Yeah, consistency is great, but if you're consistently setting yourself up for and experiencing failure, it will result in unfavorable results and an even worse attitude. They were continually devoting themselves to spiritual matters that affected everyday living, such as doctrine, fellowship, and prayer. The apostles' teaching were those things that passed down from the Old Testament and affirmed in Christ, as well as the teachings of Jesus while he walked the earth. That's all fine and well, but how are we to do that today since the apostles are dead and gone? Thankfully, God saw fit to preserve his word, the Bible, for us, which is a miracle in and of itself, but more on that another time. And therefore, the teachings of God are readily available today to anyone capable of diving in the word. Look, folks, truth matters. Despite what you hear in the media or how the world tries to alter definitions, God's truth is stable, valid, and unchanging. Another key element of the early church's consistency was in the area of fellowship. This refers to the consistent devotion to spiritual growth, maturity, and unity of individuals into the body of believers. One of the many ways to do this is through the breaking of bread, which can refer to the Lord's table, or to sitting down and sharing a meal. It is no surprise food brings people together. Lastly, but certainly not least, is that they consistently devoted themselves to prayer. Regular, habitual, spiritual prayer was and still remains crucial for any believer. Whether it takes place individually, corporately, or as whole communities, spontaneous communication with God showcases an understood dependence on him that is vulnerable and yet so reinvigorating in your spiritual walk. And the end result? All before God, unity and spiritual fellowship, correct worldview and doctrinal teachings, gladness in their hearts before God, and spiritual blessing as they received what God had already prepared for them.